Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're finding me, my friends. Welcome back to the Mid-Century Vault. I'm your host, Philip Mershon, and today we are unlocking a mystery that has delighted and amused folks for generations. We're talking about the great oracle of the mid-20th century, the Magic 8 Ball. Did you think I was going to say Warren Buffett? Now, before we get to its pop culture fame, let's go back to its origins, which are, well, let's just say a little magical and a little sad. The story aptly starts with a clairvoyant. For years, Cincinnati professional psychic Mary Carter employed a variation of the old spirit slate magic trick for her clients. It was a chalkboard that she placed inside of a closed box. Then, laying a piece of chalk on top, she would have her clients ask the spirits a question, and then, after much rolling of eyes and much waving of hands, she'd open up the box and reveal the yes or no answer that had appeared on the board in a ghostly scrawl. She called this tool the Psycho Slate. Mary passed away in 1939, and this left her youngest son, Albert, alone in the world. Though he was in his late 40s, he was unmarried, unmoored, and had taken to drink. Living in a series of flop houses and selling his inventions when and where he could, he finally gathered inspiration from the memory of his mother's gimmick and invented a device called the Psycho-Seer Miracle Home Fortune Teller. Basically, it was a moisture-proof tube that was partitioned in the middle. Inside, each side had a 6-sided die with different answers for a total of 12 possibilities. The dice were suspended in what most think was molasses, and both ends of the tube were capped in clear glass. You'd lay the tube down on a table, you'd ask it a question, and then you'd turn it up on its end, and very slowly, like slow as molasses, your answer would come into view. He took his Psycho-Seer to a local shop owner, Max Levinson, but Carter's device was a bit of a niche novelty and it didn't really take off. So Levinson called on his brother-in-law, the design engineer Abe Bookman. And Abe made some changes by reducing it to just one interior chamber with one die, making it only 3.5 inches tall, and replacing the molasses with blue-dyed liquid. They renamed it Psycho Slate the Pocket Fortune Teller. The other things that happened about it this time were that Al had applied for a patent that he had signed over to the new company of Al Abe Crafts, Inc., a partnership of himself, Bookman, and Levinson. Then sadly, just before the patent was awarded, Al's fortunes ran out and he died of a liver hemorrhage in 1948 at just 59 years old. With Carter gone, Bookman now felt free to try some ideas that Al Carter had been resistant to. See, the biggest complaint was the Psycho Slate looked like a can of peas. So Bookman thought to himself, what do people want out of the experience of going to a fortune teller? Aha! He redesigned the device to look like a crystal ball. Great idea. I thought so. The public, however, did not. So here he was, licking his wounds and sitting on a mountain of unsold inventory when the strangest thing happened. Out of the blue, he received a call from the Brunswick Billiards Company in Chicago, 300 miles away. They had seen the crystal balls, and they needed a new promotional item. Would it be possible to reskin the crystal ball and make it look like an 8-ball from a pool table? Why, as a matter of fact, it would be no problem at all. After the Brunswick order had been fulfilled and dispersed, Al Abe kept getting calls from the public and from merchandisers for more of these magic 8 balls, and that's how this little plastic fortune teller went from a local novelty to a mid-century sensation. And here's my thoughts on that. I think that after 10 years of the Depression and nearly 5 years of war, people were exhausted and a little gun shy of anything that smacked of coloring outside the lines. Anything that hinted at the occult, like a crystal ball, was definitely outside the lines. Safety and conformity sounded like a nice little break. So if something was more like a toy, that made it okay, right? The Magic 8 Ball offered a simple, low-stakes way to deal with indecision. Should I ask out that boy from the diner? Will I pass my history test? The Magic 8 Ball was always there to offer dramatic and exciting, if not entirely helpful, answers. It became the perfect party game, gag gift, and was a staple in countless homes. You didn't need batteries. You didn't need instructions. You only needed a question and a sense of humor. And its influence didn't stop there. The Magic 8 Ball is a pop culture icon. You've seen it everywhere. From the classic movie Toy Story, where the Magic 8 Ball helps Woody and Buzz, to a classic episode of Friends, where the gang uses one to make a crucial life decision, it's been a reoccurring gag in The Simpsons and even provided plot points in shows like Seinfeld and House. It's shorthand for uncertainty and a humorous symbol of fate. So with all the high-tech gadgets and AI assistants we have today, does the Magic 8 Ball still have a place? My sources say yes, definitely. And before we go, will you share your memories about it in the comments? Will you also subscribe to the channel and like this video? The Magic 8 Ball says it is certain. Thanks for watching, and until next time, enjoy the mysteries of life.